Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 12 March 2018, coming to you tonight with a knife review. Imagine that, a knife review on the TheApostleP channel. No kidding, really. Tonight, we're going to look at a knife that, frankly, I didn't expect to like. This is the Spyderco Chaparral, and I guess sort of in its original configuration. So what is it? Well, it is a Taiwan-produced mid-lock lockback Spyderco with a, I'm going to call that a willow leaf blade. Materials are kind of standard. We have a fully lined with stainless steel lockback mechanism. I think skeletonized for lightening. Yes, they are. I think you can barely see the glint off the lightening holes. We have that sort of coarse satin that we're used to seeing from Taichung, Taiwan, Spydercos. And it is in CTS XHP steel from Carpenter. CTS XHP, I guess, could best be described as a more refined powdered metallurgy improved version of D2 tool steel. I think it takes a super fine edge and holds on to it a very long time. So I know that when I first saw the Chaparral in this very configuration, I looked at it and I went, meh. You know, you've got the carbon fiber over G10 laminate scale, which is, I guess, widely regarded as bourgeois, not real carbon fiber. Although, you know, were it not for its sort of looking down our nose reputation, it's really quite beautiful. There's some texture to the weave that I really like. But I looked at the knife and I went, well, it's not quite a spear point. It's not quite a leaf shape. It kind of makes a funny little kink right here there's like a hump. I don't know. And I thought the shape of the lock bar relief in the handle was kind of odd. Not curved like your thumb, but faceted. Thought that looked kind of odd because there aren't straight intersecting lines anywhere on the knife except in the lock bar cutout. So I thought aesthetically and maybe even functionally, actually it's not uncomfortable at all, but it kind of looks uncomfortable compared to that, right? So I never paid the Chaparral much mind, and frankly, with map pricing of between 125 and 130 bucks for a knife that has a 2 13/16 inch blade, I thought, man, you know, why would I need one of those? Well, funny how things happen in life. This knife is mine. It was a consignment that didn't sell, and I think we had offered it for like 85 or 90 bucks in excellent to near mint condition. There was actually another knife that this consignor had that was also a no sale, and this one left over, and I was curious enough about it, and the price for the pair was right, so I went ahead and bought it. I threw a quick edge on it, certainly not my best work, but and I kind of just set it on the shelf for about 6 or 8 months and really never carried it. I might have thrown it in my pocket for a couple days. But a funny thing happened on the way to Mom's funeral, of all things. I bought a new black suit for my mom's funeral and had to speak, so I thought a new suit would be good. And I thought, gee, what knife do I have here on the shelf that would go well unobtrusively in the pocket of a black suit? Well, how about that with the black PVD coated paperclip clip, deep carry variety. I threw the Chaparral in my pocket, and guess what? After a week and a couple pairs of jeans, the Chaparral was still in my pocket. Why? Why is the Chaparral still in my pocket? I'm going to tell you. First, let's start with some comparison, shall we? You briefly saw my Hap 40 Delica in Paca wood. And here, this is kind of neat. Look, the Delica absolutely dwarfs the Chaparral in outside dimensions. How about if we stack them up spine to spine and look at closed height? Even in that dimension, the Delica is a little taller. It's very compact and it weighs 2.4 ounces in almost every dimension. But check this out, guys. Blade length on the Chappie is 2 13/16 inches. Blade length on the Delica, 2 7/8. It's 1/16 longer is the Delica in blade length. Okay, but closed length, 3 5/8 on the Chaparral, 4 1/4 on the Delica. Look at that. So it's it is 5/8 of an inch longer in handle to get 1/16 of blade length. What an efficient package. And because it sort of demands a forward choil only grip, you can do it back here, but then you get 3 fingers. If you go in the forward choil, generous room for all 4 fingers on that handle. In the pinch grip, overhand pinch grip, you can get all 4 fingers on. Okay. That, my friends, is a very size efficient knife. How about blade stock? 96 thousandths on the Delica, 94 thousandths on the Delica, 76 thousandths on the Chappie. That makes it a vicious, vicious slicer. Handle thickness, now this is a lined Delica, to be sure. 406 thousandths on the Delica, 345 on the Chaparral. By the way, with the pocket wood, 3 ounces to 2.4. So you get almost as much blade, almost as much cutting edge, a slicier blade profile, and a much more size-efficient package. And it's not uncomfortable in hand at all. I mean, not at all. You're not probably going to be feather sticking or wood cutting with it, but you know, what I do every day with my knife is break down cardboard and open boxes. So there's tape, goo, cardboard, envelopes, that kind of stuff. You know, stuff that we really actually do with our knives on a daily basis. Not too many of us live off-grid and have to process firewood daily. For most of us who live normal working lives, white collar or blue collar, this knife is really fine for EDC. And by the way, yeah, I've got, well, I don't know, 5 or 6 days straight carrying this knife with an edge I put on kind of in haste when I first bought it. I did give it a quick strap before the video. Let's kind of see how sharp it is now. It's pretty racy. I love the edge that XHP takes, as Spyderco does it. Let's kind of look it over closely for fit and finish. As I said, it does have that coarse satin from Taichung that I'm really not in love with. It is a hafted knife, meaning the perimeter edges are finished, even the belly side after assembly. And everything's nice and flush. Taichung doesn't always get the lock bar and blade tang and liner interface as well as the Seki City plant does. And in this case, you'll see the lock bar just a little proud in the full open position. I don't know if I can press it in. Yeah, it actually presses flush. So as it wears, that will probably get better. So I'm not really going to ding on there. And when it's closed, it's pretty much dead flush. So nice job. Blade play, side to side vertical is nil, and we have a basically free drop in blade. You know, it's not exactly a good flicker because it's so small and the blade is so light that it just doesn't have any inertia. So you're best off just to sweep it with your thumb. You can open it just as fast that way and with 100% certainty. If you flick it, it might not open all the way. Unless you're really good at it. But this isn't the kind of knife that you need to do that with anyway. They also make this knife in a couple different variations. Early on, I think, in the Chaparral's run, there was a titanium version produced, fluted titanium with kind of a sunburst pattern of milling. Those knives were well over $200. There's one now called the Stealth Pattern Titanium. It's got kind of a geometric reflective pattern on it. I think $212 MAP pricing on that one. And then there is the Shafir Noble pattern, which is like it's a very cool sort of smoky, marbly acrylic. That's just $2 more than this one, $129 MAP pricing. They are really cool looking, but not very durable. I will just tell you that. I've had a couple in for sharpening and maybe even one in the sale, and where that acrylic is applied over the riveting hardware on that model, I've seen some blistering and some separation. So that's probably a better collection piece than it is a user. If I were going to buy one, this would be the one I would buy. And I believe there's a recently released FRN version of the Chaparral. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will, they might all be in CTS XHP steel, which ain't a bad thing. It's a racy little slicing machine, which I love. You know, for my EDC blade, I want it thin, I want it freaking laser sharp, and I want it light and small, but still good in the hand. All boxes checked. You know, we get all hung up on things that don't matter regarding how a knife performs. Flipping action. How much faster do you need it? I mean, can you really flip a knife faster than you can sweep open a Chaparral? Maybe, but is it more fun to sit on the couch and play with watching TV? Yes. But for a user knife, it's hard to beat this little guy. The shape of the thumb relief, it turns out, doesn't really bother me in use. It was more of an aesthetic objection than a real one. The lack of flickability we've addressed. The sort of nondescript and sort of unattractive blade shape, it got a lot more attractive once I started cutting stuff with it, I can tell you that. Build quality is absolutely fine. I believe we've got, yes we do, in a very Sage-like fashion, just 2 screws instead of 3 on the Sage, but both the same T8 Torx head. They're probably the exact same screw, pivot and pocket clip / body screw. Simple knife, phosphor bronze washers. Very simple knife, very Spyderco. It is a super efficient little package. Looks great closed too, just like a little football. Nice and smooth. Everything goes around it in the pocket. Just very Spyderco. As a cutting tool, it's very efficient, very Spyderco. As a knife to go in your pocket, it's very, very unobtrusive, comfortable to wear, and weighs nothing. So my initial meh reaction to the Chaparral has really turned into an enthusiastic, I think I'll keep it. Thought you guys would like to see that. And, you know, it's kind of nice to be able to do a sort of a longer term 500-foot view of a knife that's been around for a while instead of, you know, having to race to the camera with the latest thing that I might have a different impression of a year later. I had a different impression of this a year later, or 2 or 3, from not so good to really enthusiastic. I love this little knife. Thought you'd like to see it and hear what I had to say about it, all 3 of you who care about my opinion. That's all for this one, my friends. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember the word. And my chappy are sharp.